Bremule. Normandy was back in King Henry's hands. But 1 year later, his good fortune turned to tragedy. In 1120, his son and heir William Adelin died in a shipwreck. The future of Henry I's kingdom was in jeopardy. Henry desperately needed a new heir. With no legitimate sons left alive, he broke with tradition and chose his daughter, Matilda. Henry forced his barons to swear an oath to accept Matilda as queen. But when the king died, they broke their promise. England would not be ruled by a woman. Matilda's cousin Stephen saw his chance and claimed the throne. The crisis moved to the capital. At Westminster Abbey, Stephen was crowned king. But Matilda wanted what was hers. She was also lining up powerful supporters who would fight Stephen for her right to rule. Their conflict engulfed England in civil war. Fighting raged throughout the land. In 1141, everything focused on one of the kingdom's most strategic cities, Lincoln.
Build your force and get, you can go take them out.
Matilda's allies had commandeered the castle. But King Stephen was determined to take it back. He besieged the castle. Stalemate. As dawn broke on February the 2nd, everything was about to change. Matilda's half-brother, Robert of Gloucester, raced to break the siege. As Robert's forces approached Lincoln, Stephen's army turned away from the castle to face them. Robert could win Matilda the crown, but only if his army could win the day.
Hello everyone, I'm your host Kikyo, and I'm here with my co-host Jason. Welcome back to Age of Empires. You'll do fine. No, what do you got? Build your force. Let us continue.
Robert of Gloucester's forces approached Lincoln. Their task, to liberate the castle from King Stephen's siege. While behind Lincoln's walls, troops loyal to Matilda held the castle for the Empress. First, Robert's forces would stage an ambush to prevent enemy reinforcements from joining with King Stephen's army.
Scouter, ready to read. With a shul ichka.
What beath in Heston? What wilt thou? Ich forfeffen es. Hierwe for blood on Baal. Send them at Minowekes. Ich swear Salianta. Travail to dawn, men of armies. What beath in Heston? Ich obey thine hess. Essa shouldn't be here. Sentiment min itstua sua thuhetest. Here we for blood on each forfeitedness.
Give me hestes. Do ende mi dute. Curse is saddled, ridende sua head.
Sentiment min wekes.
Do ende mi dute.
Robert's men concealed themselves in a sheltered grove and lay in wait for the enemy.
Here we for blood on Baal.
Vendors, Isana Nirbi!
Essa shouldn't be here.
Robert defeated the first column of Stephen's reinforcements, but he knew more were on the way.
Tacketh uppe din armes. Ich fortet din hess.
Second hostile column coming from the south.
Hetwell Beodon. Ich hab... Na! Bevor! Esperente!
Take out this fucking crossbow and longbows.
Kurse, Sam, Skatte, Julet! Was will denn die Hälfte?
With more of Stephen's reinforcements eliminated, Robert was steadily undermining the siege.
And Shanka for Thorper. Tema away to Faren. Ich suessa aliata.
Father, come on.
Each sail the bow!
Essa shouldn't
Charge!
Robert's men decimated King Stephen's reinforcements and were poised to break the siege.
Friendly
Continuing
reinforcements
the
are
push
alright.
towards Lincoln, Robert sent in a large company of reinforcements to aid his vanguard. To further weaken the siege, Robert would need to cut off Stephen's supplies. He targeted the nearby market town.
Tuesday Tulkas, Hestes cometh. Voliende Hestes.
Build up!
Intendeth Freckles.
Call him, let's go.
Yes. Tid Windleth, Vereth.
Let's go set fire to something. Oh.
Ich habe gefallen, Beppo!
Beyond this address! Avoid it! Hestes alone,
Edward! Engage back!
Aggressive postura! Hestes cometh our way there! Leonis Yare Toto. Battered head, Leonis. Hestes cometh our way there! Volinde Hestes!
Rallying to Matilda's cause, a large group of knights arrived at Lincoln to bolster Robert's army.
Hestes and all.
With the market town in ruins, King Stephen's supplies began to dwindle. Robert received word that Welsh troops under Matilda's banner were en route to join forces with him. But King Stephen had the roads to Lincoln heavily guarded, and the route was not without risk, even for the hardy Welshmen.
Rendezvous with the Welsh forces across the river.
At me no word, Ferret, we shall lay the young. Ut readeth nu, Julius.
Ich habe gefallen, Beppo!
Charge!
Making their way to Lincoln, Matilda's Welsh allies were ambushed by the king's soldiers. Robert's men would need to aid the Welsh if they wanted their help in breaking the siege.
Move! Control the green!
Aggressive, yeah! Do that! Call it on!
Joining forces on the road to Lincoln, Matilda's allied troops made for the castle to lift the siege.
Nu, Julius, set it young.
Every champion!
Attente to service. At me no word, Ferret. Ut readeth nu, Turkis. mit Ballenes. Alles mit! Ich shall leden.
Robert's forces spotted a large detachment of Stephen's soldiers guarding the castle gates. If they hoped to liberate Lincoln, they would need to break the blockade and rout the army.
Forward defenders, mit Ballenes.
Robert's forces scattered the king's army, leaving the gates to the castle unguarded.
Reinforcements would like to enter.
Ut rideth nu, Tullius.
Robert's men finally united with Lincoln's garrison. They could now use the castle to strengthen their army.
At me no word.
To lift the siege, they needed to destroy the enemy camps surrounding the castle.
Arita, what needeth work? Eagle habe that he building a...
You're ready to done some work.
Yard way shit.
Block in they work, swell head.
Ё-моё, мама звонит.
What needeth be undone? Softer arrow.
What needeth be undone? The spanner unloaded. Eagle builded that for thee. Something to sharpen? Yeah, an unreater. Something to sharpen? And a pressure marker?
And seal ye builded thing.
Yara, onto a marker.
See they to work.
Hispana on the loaded.
You'll then do that right to know. You can have that he building and on. He can build that for they. You'll then do that right to know. He can have that he building and on. See they to work. Good swinker be made. You'll then do that right to know. Building done, it looketh good.
Anna Weren, am blende mara ilche.
You ready for Hestes?
Look at you be ready, Freckes.
Men, Mikkel Armes, Mikkel...
See they to Baron.
Matilda's forces struck hard, destroying one of King Stephen's siege camps.
What needeth be undone? You're ready to done some work, eh? Who do they, mate? You can build that for they.
Arthur Canitas, ye shall lay the yow! Canitas, in the sun!
Springer at the period de Hester.
Engine on the way.
King Stephen's army dwindled as Matilda's forces struck down another siege camp.
Ut readeth nu, Tulkas. We shall lay the yard.
Menendez, get shore here!
Tempest, lustet mehr Kämpfer. Wer
Unche, Jennifer Hestes! Eric Tolkien, Hammer! Everything is antidote. Sage engines awaiting Hestes! Unche, Jennifer Hestes!
Welcome back. Sorry about the fucking going quiet.
Everything is antidote. Sage engines awaiting Hestes! Unche, Jennifer Hestes! Everything is antidote.
The king's army was scattered, and those who didn't fall fled. King Stephen was spotted, shielded by his men. To end the siege, Matilda's forces needed to capture Stephen and rout his army.
Attack him directly!
Matilda's men closed in and finally captured King Stephen.
Teach that catapult a lesson?
Matilda's forces had won the battle at Lincoln. But the fight for the crown was not over yet.
What glorious work! Welcome back.
A counterweight trebuchet was the king of all siege engines. A catapult capable of smashing down castle walls from great distances. At Warwick Castle in England, they've built a replica, one of the largest in the world. Originating in 7th century China, by the 13th century, trebuchets had evolved into devastatingly powerful weapons.
Such a simple design, but so effective.
It has several key features. A pivoted arm with a weight at one end, and a sling to hold the projectile at the other. To prime, the 6-ton weight is raised using tread wheels.
So this is one of the wheels, one of two that's attached to an axle, which would lift the counterweight, weighing 6 tons. It's based on muscle power alone. What's essential about launching a projectile as far as possible is making sure that this end of the arm is moving as fast as possible. So once that weight drops, it really sends this point of the arm moving at its highest velocity.
This was done by positioning the pivot close to the counterweight and by launching the projectile from a sling. When released, the sling whips round, vastly increasing the launch speed. Trebuchets were carefully aimed, like modern guns.
In order to weaken the castle walls or even breach them, you had to make sure that the projectiles hit the same spot every single time.
For each projectile to follow the same trajectory, they all had to be the same weight and shape. To achieve this, masons used a gauge.
Now I'm going to load this projectile into the sling. Oh, this one must weigh about 25 kilograms, but some projectiles can get up to 150 kilograms. That's the weight of 2 men.
Trebuchets were also used to throw burning tar, beehives, even dead bodies. Anything to cause maximum distress to the enemy.
Did you hear that whoosh?
It was the counterweight trebuchet's lethal combination of power and accuracy that made it the ultimate medieval siege weapon.